Hello horror hounds, it's time for a return trip to Springwood and the Nightmare on Elm Street TV series. We're at season 2, episode 9, an episode called Monkey Dreams from Freddy's Nightmares.
I bid you welcome.
I welcome you to my house.
Welcome to my house.
Welcome to my home.
What on earth is up with the quality control of this TV series? It is so all over the place. Great episode, awful episode, mediocre, okay, absolute rubbish. Monkey's Dreams is just another one to absolutely avoid. I don't even... Let's read the synopsis. Let's start there. Both stories are based at a sort of research lab at a university. The A story deals with a guy who is deep in debt to the mob and at the same time has got a research grant to study space transmissions, radio transmissions picked up by the Voyager satellite, a sort of search for extraterrestrial intelligence type thing, a really low-rent version of the SETI project. And he begins to get transmissions at the same time that the mob is threatening him with pain and ultimately death if he doesn't pay back the 30 grand that he owes them. And he thinks that cracking the code of these mysterious transmissions is going to afford him the money to but pay off his debt and save his life. Right, it's a nothing. So he has some nightmares about the mob hurting his family and coming for him, as you would naturally expect. There's nothing that distinguishes this as a Nightmare on Elm Street TV series at all. And then we have to sit through this turgid affair until the mob come to collect. It's all crunch time. He's about to crack the code at the same time. And he does, and he realises that the transmissions aren't coming from space, they're coming from somewhere else on the campus. I don't know how that fucking happened, because the feed he's got to analyse is supposedly coming from the Voyager satellite. Anyway, it's not extraterrestrial transmissions, it's a chimpanzee in the animal research lab across the campus who gets out and fiddles around on the intranet computer, the linked computers. Wah, wah, wah. So he gets whacked by the mob. The end. The B story then shifts over to that department with the chimpanzee and Dr. Lynch, who's in charge of that area, has a new grant. It's something to do with pain studies. So he takes the chimp that was in a communication study and then decides, right, well, now I'm just going to induce pain on this chimp. And I've devised a 5-scale level of pain, and we're going to go from 1 all the way up to 5. And the woman who was researching to try and communicate with the chimp is saying, well, no, this is an intelligent creature, this is unethical, you can't do it. There are some animal rights activists involved. And he begins to start having dreams where the animal rights people are inducing pain in him, and his colleague thinks that he is starting to empathise with the monkey and tries to persuade him to stop the pain-inducing experiments. And it all ends on a very downbeat note with there's a final dream where Dr. Lynch decides, yes, you are an intelligent creature, you shouldn't be suffering, I'm going to let you free. And we think, ta-da, he's learnt his lesson, but no, the final hammer blow is that last dream is not one of his. It's a dream of the poor chimpanzee that's stuck in a cage being tortured, and will today actually be tortured to death, is his plan. I mean, what is the science behind this? And Freddy at the end says, well, everything dreams, think about that, everything dreams. So yes, we have 20 odd minutes of thinking about this poor creature being having pain applied to it, knowing it's going to die, but also knowing it's sat in its cage, also having dreams of being set free. I mean, it's a drudge, and the takeaway from it is wholly depressing. Not helped by the fact that I rewatched The Fly 2 last night, so I am kind of done with animal vivisection in my horror for good now. The only notes of interest are that this episode was directed by Robert Englund, and that Dr. Lynch is played by Sherman Howard, who is Bub, the zombie from George Romero's Day of the Dead, which in a weird sort of synchronicity is itself a sort of scathing look at vivisection. It's all very depressing, and worse than that, this episode was boring. The next episode, number 10, acts as a sequel to a previous episode, Bloodlines, which I actually liked. So maybe the pendulum will swing back the other way and I'll like episode 10. But my verdict on episode 9, Monkey Dreams, is avoid like the plague.